Pulo Vinaka, Namaste and good evening. Welcome to the new year of Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan and we are starting off this year with our first show having the acting Prime Minister and the chair of the anti-scam task force, Mr. Manoa Kamikamica, and the Vodafone Fiji's head of eCommerce, Shailendra Prasad, to talk about a very important issue. You may remember towards the end of last year, a lot of calls had come to us about continuing to raise this issue as you needed more information, you wanted your questions answered from cross-section of the society, from our 5 radio stations and also through our website Fiji Village and through the social media platforms of more than 1.6 million followers. So we decided that based on public demand, we should start our first show with the acting head of government and of course Vodafone Fiji's head of e-commerce. Vodafone is here also because they have the largest chunk of M-PAISA users, and it will be only right to assess what is going on and what more can be done. So gentlemen, thank you very much for coming on the show, our first show for 2024. Now, first question, and it's based on also we'll be asking your questions that you've sent through. It's incorporated in the questions that we're asking. What is the government's view on ongoing cashless transformation that's going on as far as different platforms like M-PAISA is concerned? And how are we using that as far as remittances are concerned? Recently, all the back-to-school payments were done through the mobile cash platforms. How effective has it been?
Yeah, I think, thank you Vijay, and thank you for giving us this opportunity to come and talk about a very topical subject, and I'm sure it's a topic of concern to both government and the telcos. But in terms of going cashless, I think Vodafone and also to some extent Digicel need to be congratulated for introducing the M-PAISA and MyCash platforms, because they've certainly transformed how we transact in Fiji. It's, for example, made transfer of funds a lot easier, and also allowed small business to actually flourish, because you have a very easy way of conducting business, and that's been one of the major benefits. Me being a politician, certainly during the campaign time, it was very easy to send money to a party agent or party coordinator somewhere if we needed to get things going. So it was very convenient. And the beauty about the platform now is you can also accept funds from offshore directly into your accounts. So for example, for those who are on the seasonal worker scheme, they can send funds from, say, Armadale or wherever they're staying in Australia, straight into their parents' account or straight into their wife's account. So it's an amazing way of unlocking transactions. Before you had to go to a bank, stand in a queue, and then get money after 1 or 2 hours sometimes. And here you are, sitting, and you just receive the money straight away. So from that perspective, it's been, in my view, quite a transformational thing for the country. The back to school, the ability to send money on a platform immediately. Just imagine what would have had to have happened if everybody had to go to banks and get the money. It would be chaotic. And so, from that perspective, I think it's been quite beneficial. Yeah.
Shailendra, from Vodafone's perspective, you've got a lot of users and record transactions done last year. What are some of the figures we're looking at as far as remittances coming through M-PAISA and all these payments that you're now making as far as government payments to the people is concerned?
Thank you, Vijay, and good evening, Acting Prime Minister and listeners on Fiji Village. One of the first things that I wanted to say is M-PAISA is actually my baby. I have been with M-PAISA from its inception in 2010 when it was launched. And I have seen it take the baby steps and where it is today. But in terms of going cashless, I think that's the future. If I'm not wrong, Fiji is also a signatory to the Better Than Cash Alliance of the Alliance for Financial Inclusion. So the government is committed to going the cashless journey. And I think also there is a requirement from institutions like the World Bank to go on this path because the whole world is moving to cashless. But one of the things that I wanted to highlight when we launched M-PAISA in 2010, around 45 to 50% of Fiji's population was financially excluded. And when you have people financially excluded, they cannot be part of the mainstream economy. Just some stats, 52% of the users, M-PAISA users, are female. So it has been great for women empowerment. I mean, the acting PM talked about small businesses, micro entrepreneurs being able to, sell their little products or produce and receive money instantly. So from that perspective, if I look at some of the statistics for last year, we processed $6.95 billion worth of transactions through M-PAISA. And around $1.6 billion of that was just domestic transfers from people to people. So, and last month we brought in $52.6 million in inward remittances. So if you look at it over a 12-month period, that's close to about $480 million. That contributes to about 42% of the total personal remittances that comes into the country. And then, of course, there's bill payments. I mean, rural customers being able to buy cash power tokens directly from their mobile phone rather than coming to main centers. So the benefits are immense. But one of the, and if you look at it from the traditional cash fiat money point of view, money has transformed, over the years from, feathers, coins, shells, whatever. And the last money that is in circulation is obviously notes and coins. But the newer form of money is electronic money. And with the advent of technology and digital transformation, of course, electronic money is the new thing, and it is going to take stranglehold around the world. Because it is much easier to send and receive money, to transact. And the benefits of these are there is greater transparency and accountability. I mean, tomorrow if somebody asks government, you spend $42.8 million on back to school sale, they can account to every cent because there is a digital trail of every transaction. So from that perspective, I think it's a great benefit to the economy. And if you look at 66.7 or 95 billion dollars worth of transaction through M-PAISA, Mr. Kamikamica would agree that one of the main triggers of economic activity is how quickly can money circulate in the economy, because there's multiplier effect of money. If you have just cash-based transaction and if cash is not available, the transactions don't happen. With M-PAISA being able to move money seamlessly around in the economy, the multiplier effect of this is huge, and we can see. And part of the reason why Fiji has actually improved so significantly post-COVID was because the money has kept on circulating in the economy, facilitated through platforms like M-PAISA.
A lot of successes there, and we can build on it. Acting PM, you also have your background in the banking industry.
Yes.
What are the major challenges we are facing as we going through this, navigating our way through?
Yeah, I mean, of course, government has ambitions to go on a digital journey, and cabinet had approved a digital strategy for Fiji, which involves digitizing the whole Fijian economy. The challenge is with anything, there is also the increase of scams and illegal activity. And so the challenge for the government is how do we, one, be in step with as digitization increases, and two, I think more importantly, how do we create awareness and try and make the people of Fiji aware that yes, with the heightened level of convenience and seamless money transfer, there are some risks that we need to be very cognizant of and be aware of it. Yeah.
You're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan. Now, Shailendra, is in relation to the challenges, you said from 2010 you started off M-PAISA. What are some of the major challenges that you are facing at the moment that you believe that we need to be dealing with?
One of the major challenges that we're facing is the need for last mile cash. Let me explain. So there is somebody, let's say in Kandavu, or let's say in one of the islands like Ngau Island, and the family is in Australia and they send money directly into the M-PAISA account from abroad as international money transfer. Now, if on that island there is a shop and they would only demand for cash to do a transaction, then for that M-PAISA user to be able to transact on the island, somebody has to physically take cash from the mainland to Post Fiji or whatever, where they can go and withdraw and then cash. So there is currently electronic money is not recognized as legal tender. The only legal tender in the country is cash. So a lot of these beneficiaries or users of M-PAISA are left to the whim of the merchants. If they demand cash, then you have to pay with cash. So, I think cash is actually a problem in the system. The easier we can get rid of cash and make the whole ecosystem a cashless ecosystem, then, receiving money, making payments is so much easier. And when if there are 500 people on the Ngau Island and if somebody has to physically take cash, the cost of taking cash there in terms of, delivery cost, insurance cost, plus security and all those things that are associated, to enable that one cash transaction, the cost is way greater than the value that one would get. So, I hope at some point we will realize that electronic money is as good as cash. And if every business in the country starts accepting cashless payments and electronic money, then it makes life easier, so much easier for everybody. So I think that's one big challenge. The other challenge obviously is a lot of the users are first time using platforms like technology or technology-based digital platform for financial services. Yes, they are using Facebook and Instagram and stuff like this, but financial service also requires you to be very much aware of the security elements to protect your account, because there are many bad actors, and rogue traders, etc., who will constantly want to target those who are the vulnerable and not so tech savvy. So I think that's an area that we really need to continue to keep doing awareness. And I thank you for inviting us to programs like this so that we can impart this knowledge and information to the customers on how to keep their account safe and secure from would-be scammers. So that is the other area. I think one of the other places that we can really assist is when people receive money, they need not go and spend the money straight away. I think one of the habits of a lot of people is we do not save for the future. Mobile wallets, just like bank accounts, provide you the opportunity to be able to save some money for the rainy days. So I think we need to start doing some, education and awareness of needs-based saving or savings for the future, so that you always are covered when it comes to financial risks or risks that may happen in the future.
There's a question that came through about the people are saying how safe is the money that they have in their M-PAISA accounts. Is there danger of them losing that money? They wake up one morning and the money is not there. Starting off with you. What laws are in place to make sure that does not happen?
Yeah, I'll certainly cover the regulatory side, because that's more government purview. The mobile money wallet providers are regulated. They are regulated under the reserve with the oversight of the Reserve Bank, and so that creates a very good level of security over the funds, and that means that essentially the funds of the members in the possession of Vodafone is quite secure. The issue is outside, when the person interacts with other people. That's when the risk comes. But certainly from a regulatory perspective, the regulations are there. They have to comply with the reporting requirements, and that does, for certainly, and it applies to all mobile money wallets. That provides a level of oversight that ensures that the safety of the funds is protected.
Shailendra, for that listener who has sent that question.
So one of the first thing I want to highlight is we are now licensed under the National Payments Act of 2023 and the regulations under it, and we come under the same level of scrutiny and supervision by the Reserve Bank of Fiji as would a normal commercial bank, from transaction reporting, monitoring, security aspects. And one of the things that I wanted to also let people know is like on M-PAISA, we do not charge any monthly account maintenance fee. Some banks charge, so if you put $100 and if you don't have any activity on the account, every month they take away a certain amount, and after 5, 6, 10 months, you probably won't have any balance in the account. I don't know if it's still the practice, because I hardly go to the bank these days because M-PAISA serves my purpose. But in M-PAISA, if you put $100 now, 3 years later, you still need to, you will still have your balance intact. But having said that, we also report to Reserve Bank and submit report if there are unclaimed monies over a period of time, because that is required under the Act. But insofar as the security of the money is concerned, every cent or every dollar and a cent that is in each person's mobile wallet, including those of the M-PAISA agents, sits in a trust account in a bank. It is not mixed up with M-PAISA, with Vodafone's operational account. So tomorrow, for some reason, if say Vodafone goes under, the money of each user, the balance in the account is 100% intact, and everybody will be paid to the cent. But in terms of the security of the account itself, when we developed this system, we made sure that we covered every aspect of the security to make sure that the depositor fund is safe and secure. We even hired professional, hackers to come and hack our system to see where the vulnerabilities are. So we do this kind of penetration tests every time to make sure, as we deploy new technology, to make sure the system remains absolutely hack-proof and foolproof, so that the customer's money is always secure. Where we see the vulnerabilities are, despite creating the education and awareness, some people are lured into some very attractive deals or investments or return on investments, and they end up divulging a lot of their personal details and account security details to third party, and that's when the account gets compromised. So through the efforts like this, we want to make sure that people continue to be educated and made aware of these risks.
Acting Prime Minister, last year we also saw one of the biggest scams emerge, and we'll talk about that because there's a lot of questions in relation to that. But we also saw the formation of the anti-scam task force, which you chair. If you can elaborate on the need to set up the task force.
Yeah, the scam task force came out of just the government seeing how, if you like, there was an escalation in scam activity in the country, and particularly the infamous eBay scam. And we just felt that we needed to attack this as a whole of government approach. And in that vein, the thought of a anti-scam task force was created. Basically, the task force is chaired by myself, and in my absence, the permanent secretary chairs the task force. But it's an interagency task force. So the police is there, the FCCC, Consumer Council is there, Online Safety Commission is there, Reserve Bank, the Solicitor General is there, and also more importantly the telcos as well are there to provide support. And just recently I've been thinking of just involving some other technical expertise just to enhance the task force altogether. Basically, we've got about 3 key things we're trying to focus on. One which Shailesh had alluded to, which is just the need to continue to share awareness. One of the things, Vijay, that I've been telling everybody is, if someone comes to you through messages and says, You give me $50, I'll give you $25 back as your profit. Start running for the trees. If the returns are too high, it's probably there's something behind it. And so that kind of awareness, sharing of passwords, those kind of things are very important. The other one is, more importantly, we've started to realize that the laws need to be reviewed. And so a bit of work is going into actually looking at the legislation for FCCC, Consumer Council, as well as the Online Safety Commission, and then trying to see what we can do to tighten up the laws so that the penalties are quite strong as deterrents, and also right now one of the things that's a big sort of weakness, if you like, is until someone comes and reports, the FCCC can't really act, which is a big challenge as well. So these are some of the things that we're working through. I'm hoping that at the end of it, we have a more robust system of tracking and monitoring, and then also in that way we try and help the people of Fiji in terms of how they interact on these mobile platforms, cash platforms, and ensure that they're not defrauded of their hard-earned money.
Yeah, that's an interesting point until someone complains, because things were progressing and everybody was talking about it last year about eBay, but they were saying, where's the authorities and what action? So that was quite scary actually, that you can play it out, and if there's no complaint, Shailendra, that it can continue.
Yeah, I mean, from our side, we tried to make people aware, but people could see the short-term returns, but they could not see that at some point it's going to collapse and they're going to lose the money. So a lot of people were also driven by the fact that, hey, I've made so much money, and then the people that got recruited in the scheme was mostly friends and families, and now that some of them are not talking to one another because they say, I've just listened to you and followed suit. So the way the pyramid scheme works is the top is very narrow, the bottom base. So once everybody has contributed, there's nobody to contribute, you don't move up the ladder, so you don't benefit. So it eventually collapses. But I agree with the point by the acting Prime Minister in terms of taking proactive actions as opposed to reactive. And also the task force will add a degree of legitimacy when communication goes out, because it's a multi-stakeholder agency. When one party does it alone, then some people take it with a pinch of salt. So I think the formation of this task force obviously adds greater credibility, and when it comes from a multitask, stakeholder agency as a communication, then people will probably take it more seriously.
You're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan. We'll be back after this break.
I've always resorted to drugs because of the work that I do as a coping mechanism.
You said you started sex work and drugs at the same time?
I was 12 years old.
Do you believe, based on the current situation, your salary and allowances should be reviewed and reduced?
Definitely, I think it should be reviewed to reflect what is there in the market.
Is the government of the day promoting nepotism within our community and hatred towards Indo-Fijians?
Thank you very much. The answer is no.
$1 in $3 of our taxes goes towards servicing our debt. So you can't say it's nothing.
There's also the need to do financial inclusion a bit better.
What is your message to the people who may rate you as not good enough for finals rugby?
Success doesn't just happen overnight.
Fiji Village Straight Talk with Vijay Narayan. Watch it on the Fiji Village Facebook page and YouTube channel.
Okay, set. It's hooked up now.
Are you ready to take your lie detector test? Set. Ready.
He's lying.
Why are you lying to me? I'm not lying to you again.
Liar!
So, I wouldn't lie to you guys, honestly.
Really? Con man.
Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. I need you to stop all your little silly games and tell me what I want to know. I don't know what you want to know.
Gorim, body bluffing.
You tell me what's the least popular radio station in Fiji?
FM 96. Huh?
Yeah.
You lie.
Share. Eh?
I'ma kick back when you fake like that. I'm a header at the game, I don't play that back. Would you let me go? No, you never come back. I'ma be that best that you never had. I'ma kick back when you never.
Welcome back. You're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan. Our guest tonight, the Acting Prime Minister and Chair of the Anti-Scam Task Force, Mr. Manoa Kamikamica, and the Head of eCommerce of Vodafone Fiji, Mr. Shailendra Prasad. We'll talk about eBay and the scam last year because a lot of questions came through from there. Acting PM. Questions are being asked, what is being done in relation to the eBay scam? How much money went to the scammers through platforms like M-PAISA, and going forward as far as investigations, etc.?
Yeah, thank you, Vijay. Firstly, I think the the eBay scam is probably one of the larger ones that I've ever seen happen in Fiji, and the numbers are quite staggering. We've received up to almost 1,900 complaints, Vijay, in terms of since 31st of October last year, valued at around about 3.1 million. The reports came through from the Consumer Council and FCCC. Basically, just to go back to what I was saying before, Vijay, the alarm bells were being rung by Vodafone, by Consumer Council, by FCCC, well before we had to then step in and report it. And basically the issue was none of the agencies, including the Reserve Bank, could actually step in and do something until there was a complaint. And as we know, with a lot of these transactions, what actually happened was people just kept, not to show that they'd been spoofed, kept quiet initially. And so until we started getting reports, then there could be, we could actually act. And so it's very unfortunate. The FCCC has been conducting investigations, and also the Consumer Council. They have handed the bulk of the investigations to the police. The police have actually escalated this to be a priority task force matter for them. And so the investigations are still progressing right now. And I'm hoping to get a bit more information in terms of where we headed. But certainly it's very unfortunate, Vijay, in terms of the amount of money. And this is only the people that reported to us. There's possibly a lot more out there that we're not aware of. Like I said, the promise of I suppose getting rich quicker sort of made people lose this money. So like I said before, Vijay, if anybody comes to you and says, "I'll double your money without you doing any work," my strong suggestion is don't believe them and run for the hills, because most likely, you will. There is potential issue of of losing that money eventually, and hence a lot of our people have actually ended up in losing significant money.
But definitely our laws have to be
correct
amended, because what played out last year, the fact that the authorities could not act unless there's a complaint or unless the scheme, a pyramid scheme crashes, was very concerning, Shailendra.
Yes, it was. I mean, for us, obviously, we have inbuilt monitoring, transaction monitoring, etc., which we have reported to the FIU. But M-PAISA, as I said, processes millions of dollars of transactions and local person-to-person money transfers every month. So a lot of these monies were sent as person-to-person money transfers, and it's very difficult for us to, monitor or dissect every transaction that goes to the platform. To basically see which one is legit, which one is not. I give you an example. Through the Vodafone network, hundreds or millions of SMS messages are sent daily. Nobody is sitting there going through each message, screening it, what goes through. So similarly, through the mobile money platform, a lot of transactions happen. Obviously, we have tools and there are reports generated by exception if a number all of a sudden is doing, if a mobile number or account number is doing a lot of transaction all of a sudden, then it triggers a red flag, and we then do some analysis and then submit report if we feel it's a suspicious transaction to the FIU. That's the role that we have. What happens beyond FIU and who investigates and whether it's legit or not legit is then dependent upon the authorities.
The issue over here too, what we've been told, is that the agents were making bulk of the money. There were certain agents who were getting bulk of the eBay money. Where they was there suspicious transactions of some people receiving a significant amount of money all of a sudden over a period of time?
Yes, there were certain numbers that were put on the blacklist, and obviously these were reported as suspicious transactions. So
were they reported after scam task force was formed and things started happening, or before that?
There was ongoing reporting. The suspicious transaction reporting happens on an ongoing basis. So when we saw these sort of activities and the numbers, if we felt an account number was doing some suspicious transaction, then these were reported. So this is an ongoing activity, and of course, Reserve Bank under its supervision role also comes and does on-site audits, and they can ask for an entire set of information about a transaction of a customer's transaction. So we are always open to providing additional information. All in all, I think the objective here is something like this should not be repeated again. There should be proactiveness, there should be timely reporting, there should be
acting on the reports.
So
and
I think
changing of the law.
Absolutely, and I think that's the objective of the task force, that these sort of things should not happen again.
Now the other issue was, acting PM, is that some agents, to try to beat the system, and this question is for both of you, had multiple M-PAISA accounts, so they could get money transferred. What's the limit for a person to be receiving the amount, or to be
daily
sent?
transaction limit is 2,000.
2,000 per account.
Yes.
So to beat the system, some agents had multiple accounts. How can that be controlled if people use other means?
So if I may, if we limit opening of an account to using one sort of ID, let's say just voter card, then a lot of people will not be able to, because they may not have a voter card. The issue in Fiji at the moment is there are multiple IDs being used to register for a mobile. Somebody could come with a driving license today and go to another place, another M-PAISA agent or Vodafone shop with a voter card and get a. So, and also M-PAISA account is also linked to the SIM card. And we do not restrict people from having multiple SIM cards, because now you have so many smart gadgets. You have a smart camera, you have a smart fridge, you have a smart air conditioner, and all these come with a SIM that needs to be inserted with data to be able to operate remotely. So from a telco perspective, if you look at it, we cannot restrict people from having multiple SIMs because they may need it for multiple devices. But from a financial account point of view, I think there was some work being done by government, talking to Reserve Bank, about having a national ID. Mm-hmm. And if we can have a national ID, and better still a digital national ID, then anyone who comes to register for any sort of account will then need to present that one single ID. And it makes monitoring much easier, because then if they come with the same ID to pick multiple SIMs, we can link all the SIMs together and kind of see what sort of activity is happening between accounts. But in the absence of that, it becomes very difficult because people give different addresses, they may have moved, whilst we do verification in terms of KYC and know your customer requirements. The multiple IDs also allow people to keep multiple accounts. But having said that, Vijay, an M-PAISA account, the maximum you can keep in that account is below $10,000. So at any point in time, it is classified as a low risk by the Reserve Bank because you cannot exceed the balance of 10,000. Yes, then multiple accounts may add to the risk because then it can help facilitate. But the monitoring tools are there to make sure that we monitor these.
Yeah, we've got all these smart systems. We also have smart scammers acting, Prime Minister. How do you beat the smart scammers?
Yeah, like so, what the task force has done is actually allowed interagency collaboration, and so the awareness at the agency level in terms of what's happening is a lot more. There's a lot more discussions happening. And then reacting to scams that or potential scams. At least that now there's a discussion happening. If we see something that's unusual, I think in terms of to me, honestly, from my perspective, the best way to counter scams is one of the key things that we're doing is just continue to have awareness going out there and educating the public that even basic hygiene things like I mentioned before. Don't offer your password or PIN number to anybody that asks for it. And it's amazing the number of people that actually do that, trustingly. You're basically signing your life away if you do that, and so that's the more awareness around just being aware firstly of scams. One of the things that's happened to me regularly now is you get a hello message on Viber, and it's not the person that you know. It's just the way the messages come. But some of us don't critically check the message, and then very senior people actually send money because they think it's their cousin or something on that.
Didn't you get a message, someone pretending to be Minister Nditoka?
Yes. I got someone who said he was Minister Nditoka. The message just showed that he wasn't Minister Nditoka because we call each other a name because we are both from Thailand. So just being, just because someone sends you a message, be a bit more wary and not just accept that message as, the person on the other side. And so, again, it's about continued awareness and just continuing to encourage all of us to be a bit more wary. We are getting instantaneous information, but just be very careful in terms of how you interact. Yeah.
The most recent one, a few months ago, were teachers getting scammed, Shailendra.
Yes, Viber being hacked, and then messages being circulated amongst the colleagues saying the principal of the school asking money from the teachers, sending messages. So the point that the acting PM is making is we are just too trusting, and somehow when something comes through social media or Viber, WhatsApp, we sort of take that as gospel truth. We need to build that culture of questioning things, whether they're legit or not. I mean, just yesterday I got a call from the police without naming names. This guy went and reported saying he sent $800 to some person because his son was in custody. And the police, that guy said, if you send $800, we'll release your son. So he sent the money, and the next moment he calls him, the number is diverted. And the money had moved to somebody else, and they had withdrawn the money by the time they called us. So when he went to pick up the son, they was told there's no such police officer here releasing your son. So I think, a lot of people take the action and then question it and then find the information about it. If they can just stop for a while, see the legitimacy or authenticity of the messages that are being sent, and just give a call. These days the calls are, almost at no cost. Just verify the information before you part with your hard-earned monies. I think if we can be a little bit more proactive and vigilant with these sort of bad actors out there, then we can save your hard-earned money.
Now, issue in relation to the laws, going back to that, under Section 87A of the FCCC Act 2010, a person must not act as a promoter of or operate a pyramid selling scheme. It is an offence, and anyone found to be doing this will face the full brunt of the law. Now, are we looking at this section, and did it work for us last year? As you said that we were waiting for the complaint. When this section is clear, if somebody is operating it or promoting it, they should be taken to task.
And the way the interpretation of that works is until you actually get a complaint, you can't really actively go out there and do anything. And so that's been the key challenge, I think, in the current situation. Even in conversations with the Reserve Bank, they heard of things, but again, no ability to declare it as a scam and then tell the public. So what we're trying to do is get a bit more teeth in the law.
So right that now we're like toothless tigers.
Somewhat, yes. Yeah. So to try and actually go in and stop the active deceit whilst it's happening. That's been the challenge. Even the police, Vijay, they can't go and stop until they get a complaint. Yeah, and so I know this has been happening for there's been previous scams as well, but certainly this time around we are very keen to look at all the regulations and hopefully in the next couple of months put through some regulations that allow the regulators to reach in and prevent scams when they're happening, and two is also have punitive measures that really deter people from actually perpetrating these scams.
Looking forward to those amendments coming through Acting PM.
Thank you.
Now, in relation to, as we discussed also with increased digitization in the country, the laws, as you said, need to keep up with these changes. Yes. I'll start off with you because in 2010 you came up with M-PAISA and things have continued to change over the years. From your perspective, sitting in the private sector, being a service provider, what would you want from the government in terms of making sure that the laws are changed and timelines being set to ensure you are safeguarded and the people who are using your platforms are safeguarded?
I'll obviously leave it to the to the PM because that's his jurisdiction in terms of the enactment of laws, etc. But from a service provider point of view, obviously, I know it's a very difficult area. Just as there are many people who are first-time users of digital platforms, I think our various agencies, police, and the sophistication of the crime using digital technology, probably there is also a need to build capacity and collaboration with some of the bigger and more technologically advanced countries like India, Australia, who sort of experience these sort of scams and fraudulent activities on a more regular basis and have been able to come in with policies and laws, etc., that can proactively detect and take proactive actions. But from our perspective, I think the most important thing for us is when somebody has committed an act, and if they are left out on bail and they go and reoffend and continue to get free, then it becomes a concern to us because so what we would like is a faster apprehension of these perpetrators, charged, convicted, tried in court, put behind bars for a long period of time, named and shamed in public, so it becomes a deterrence. This is what I think can help create that fear and deterrence so that people don't go and do it.
I think, Prime Minister?
Yeah, thank you. Like, in terms of legislation and laws, we do have the Cybercrime Act, and that's and we are in the process of acceding to the Budapest Convention. Apart from that, the government is actively looking at a cybersecurity strategy and also an e-commerce strategy to try and tighten up things around digitization and cybersecurity. And also there's we are looking at a national computer emergency response team, or CERT it's called, and that again is another level of monitoring that happens around cyber detection and security issues. I think ultimately, Vijay, I think the importance of getting the laws right is something that I've alluded to earlier. So FCCC, Consumer Council and Online Safety Commission are looking through their laws and trying to see what provisions we need to introduce to make the laws much more stronger and act as deterrents. It's important, it's very important that that going forward that the agencies actually can enforce the laws, and point taken from Vodafone in terms of just ensuring that the process of charging these perpetrators and actually bringing them to task is speedy as well, and that's probably something that government has to consider as well in terms of trying to ensure that going forward we make sure that those who deceive and those who are perpetrating these crimes are actually taken to task and put away for a very long time.
You're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan. We'll be back after this break.
Ni sambulo binang tare nan dren ngamodengu and VTFM ngono mlito kani micro
Sembuta out mama. Ayaw mikan galon bola how may wish something chilang of in the miska kana tadina.
Oi, ono nung salan di san den mister lo.
Apa ngor pamoy. Oi, apa ngor ge pamutak. Tama ngor koli.
Out dum dum tarbego.
Right.
Oda man de ke baka iko me lewa.
Iya.
En vi dam baka nan mutai.
Se bera man tagi dola lubengu se rose vida na lubengu. Ko elo tilo. Ola sagama de mola sami kemra mon reni bimbi umai.
And VTFM and Beto Corvina Chugane Punjas, proud sponsors of the Fijian Ruango, Mike Randua.
Get ready to elevate your event with Total Event Company's top-notch gear hire services. From a stunning 12 by 12 meter adjustable stage and impressive 13 by 13 meter production roof, we've got your event covered. Our gear can fit any venue, big or small. Need tents? We offer 3 by 3 meter pagodas, 6 by 3 meter tents, and a grand 15 by 30 meter marquee tent. Turn your vision into reality. Choose Total Event Company for gear that makes your event shine. Visit the Total Event Company Facebook page or dial 3314766 to get in touch with us.
Welcome back. You're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan. Tonight our guests are Acting Prime Minister Manoa Kamikamica and Vodafone Fiji's Head of E-Commerce Shailendra Prasad. And we're talking about scams and how we can put in protective measures and also to assist you in what would be the best practices in making sure as we go into this digital age and ensuring that we're using cashless systems, that we are using it responsibly and looking at the safe measures that are in place. just based on that, Acting Prime Minister, how are we approaching the issue of protecting the most vulnerable, knowing that a lot of people may be using these platforms for the first time?
Yeah, I think ultimately, Vijay, like I've mentioned a couple of times, the creation of awareness, and actually, sort of continuing to interact with the people of Fiji around one being very, very aware of these types of schemes, and like I said before, if the profit is too good, then it's maybe you have to be very careful. And I think I agree with Shailesh as well in terms of, I think a lot of us are too trusting and accept quite easily any information that comes through on the phone. And so, and then you have, maybe, just safety, hygiene practices. Like, for example, having passwords that are not too easy to detect. Some people have 1, 2, 3, 4 as their password. These are passwords that some use their birth dates and then go around carrying their wallets that have their birth date their voter cards on them, and they know their birth date on it. So these are some of the things that we have to start, sort of educating the people of Fiji on, and again, and then when you come to organizations, companies, encouraging companies to start creating good safety protocols to actually protect the people. So, like, I think ultimately it's more about trying to interact with people. I think the task force will be around for quite some time, and until we feel that our people are now well aware of these schemes and can actually see them from a mile away. Some of us can actually, if an email comes and says you have just won the lottery, please click on this button. Sometimes that button, could capture some of your data.
Yes.
So these are the things that, like and again on Messenger, you get a message that says click here, and a lot of us just click straight away, and all of a sudden you get hacked. So we need to. One of the biggest challenges of the task force will actually be to continue to encourage our people to be very careful. Yes, we now have a tool that creates a major convenience to everybody, but at the same time we just have to be very careful around the way we interact with social media, the way we act with other individuals. I think that ultimately will be the laws will come and will make things more robust, but I think ultimately that's the key way we can create a more aware population, a more aware, skeptical population that does not accept whatever comes through on your phone is gospel truth. Yeah.
Definitely a lot of measures being taken to protect the vulnerable.
Yes. From our perspective, I think we continuously evaluate the platform security. As new technologies come in and evolve, we make sure that the security aspect of the new technologies is also embedded in the system. So that is an ongoing thing. I mean, you may recall that from July, we have been educating the people to move to an upgraded version of the M-PAISA app. Previously, as I had alluded to you in the last segment, that we allowed people to use a single device, and many people within the same family could use one device to access the M-PAISA account. And I think it's important to go back in history, because when we introduced M-PAISA, there was probably one device in a family. And it was part of a financial inclusion aspect of taking services to more people. Whilst everyone in the family would not afford to be able to buy a phone for themselves, they could still have their own separate account and transact. So over the period, I think this convenience aspect was exploited by some of these scammers. So the upgraded version of the app now restricts the use of or access to your M-PAISA account only from the authenticated device. So you can only access your M-PAISA account if you have gone through the authentication process using that device. You cannot go into somebody else's phone, put your SIM, and start accessing your M-PAISA account. It won't allow. So that is a major, upgrade that we did. I mean, and I'm very, very happy to report that since we made everybody to move to the new app on the 15th of April, as this morning I have checked, we have hardly had any case of unauthorized access to accounts. So that is a major accomplishment. But having said that, the scammers are always one step ahead. I mean, we now have new innovations like artificial intelligence that can mimic your voice. It can say, "Good evening, this is Vijay Narayan," and send it to somebody and say, mimic your daughter's voice and say, "Dad, I need help. Can you send me money because this guy has kidnapped me?" And some people may just believe because the mimicry of the voice of the person can be so exact that people may actually panic and send money. So these are the forthcoming risks, and I think people need to be continuously educated and made aware of the changes. From the last meeting, Vodafone Fiji has also done on their Facebook page, where we are creating more awareness to differentiate between fake messaging and genuine messaging on M-PAISA. Recently, I saw this morning somebody sent me an email saying on Facebook there's a message going around saying M-PAISA loan. We don't give any loan. So, and it says just give your details and we'll send you some money and you can send X dollars back as our fees. So these sort of things will continue to happen. It's the vigilance, the education, awareness that needs to continue to happen. We will do our part in terms of making sure that the technology and the platform in terms of the security aspects are covered. The major loophole and vulnerability is from the user level, and if we can continue to educate our customers, then I think we have everybody covered.
Just on accountability processes to ensure that whatever platform is conducting this, and you said you're registered under Reserve Bank and you're following, to ensure that there's processes in place for safeguarding. From the government perspective, is government looking at how secure that is at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of certainly the mobile wallets, the Reserve Bank actually does the monitoring, and Vodafone being a tier 1 mobile operator globally, they bring their own disciplines and standards as well, and that is so. From that perspective, the government relies on the telcos because of and one of the fortunate things we have in Fiji is we have two very reputable entities now. We've got Vodafone and obviously digital through Telstra, and that augurs well in terms of creating safe, secure environments. The other bit that we are working on as well is now looking at businesses, SMEs, and making sure they start, sort of protecting themselves as well, because that, that as well is an area that we need to look at closely. But overall, we are lucky that we have very reliable telcos here, and their systems are quite robust.
Shailendra, just on the accountability processes as far as the back end is concerned?
Yeah, so the legislation obviously and the acts obviously cover certain things that we need to do, and we go through regular audits, both from a technical audit point of view and from a consumer protection point of view, and that is an ongoing exercise. But as the acting PM has said, Vodafone is a global brand. If anything goes wrong in this country using the Vodafone brand, it has global implications. So we adhere to very high standards that the Vodafone brand espouses to around the world. and we have continuous access to the risk, security, compliance measures that they are taking within their own network, and share the learnings which we bring on board to make sure that our systems and processes are as secure as possible. I mean, we have recently got an ISO 27001 certification, which is information security. That is not something that is required by the central bank, but we have gone over and beyond to make sure that we proactively take these measures to protect our consumers' data, so there is no unauthorized access of this information, and which can be exploited or goes in the hands of the scammers, and they could be targeted. So from our side, we continue to take proactive measures, both from a platform point of view, user point of view, education and awareness point of view. And if there is any aspect where we fall short and the consumers raise this, we investigate that and see, if there are ways and means that we can address this.
Question sent for you, Acting Prime Minister. The question is, the current laws do not support third parties who are privy to information about such frauds. For example, if a bank identifies a fraud with one of their accounts, however, law enforcement will not accept this complaint nor register it, as the current law requires the aggrieved party, the party suffering the loss, to lodge the complaint. What action is being considered by the government in this regard? Is there any legislation amendments on the horizon?
Yeah, so that all is obviously covered in this looking at the laws approach. So all the regulatory bodies are looking at the laws. I'm sure the Reserve Bank as well will probably look at the laws in terms of what it can do. Again, it's all part of this process of just trying to have more teeth with the regulators, and hopefully we can bring that forward very soon, so that we continue to protect the people of Fiji.
My final question is, there were a lot of questions about serial scammers, that there are some people who continue to do that. There was an alleged scammer, M-PAISA scammer, who was caught, then ran away from the police station, and then caught again, charged, went to court, got bail. Then he was allegedly found scamming people again, set up a tent, and I think he was wearing one embroidered Vodafone self-made uniform, and doing it for the whole day again in a place in Valilevu with a tent set up, making things look legitimate, and just continuing with the cycle again. With the serial scammers, how do you think we should be dealing with that? Because that's another issue.
Yeah, I mean, when a scam happens, because all mobile SIMs are registered, we have the details, who is it registered to, the name, address, even the person's picture through the ID, etc., which we capture. Obviously, we provide it to the police. In this case, the police did their part. They apprehended the guy, took him to court. Obviously, I don't know what is the level of resource in the court system and what's the backlog of cases. And obviously when somebody is scamming somebody, apparently they also have a lot of money, so they can hire the best lawyers and then go and get bailed out. Sadly, he went and did that again. And in fact, this scammer is a multiple scammer, known scammer. And this is where I was saying earlier that, if there are ways and means to fast track these serial offenders, maybe through the provision of a cybercrime court as a suggestion, because if the government is really looking at going into full-on digital economy, these sort of scams and digital fraud will continue to increase in numbers. And if the perpetrators are not taken to task in a timely manner, and they think they can get away because it will take 5 years for them to go, be charged or tried in court, then they can continue to do this, which will really take away people's confidence in the digital, platform. So I think it's important that we look at this.
Acting Prime Minister, without going into judgments and what the judges and magistrates decide, because that's their call, but the law-making aspect and how we can do things better, one comment about cybercrime court, etc., with increasing cases, the backlog of cases? What can be done?
Yeah, so I mean, Shailesh has raised some very pertinent points regarding moving forward, and that will certainly be a consideration in terms of the overall approach regarding the scams. I can't preempt what government might do, but certainly some of the discussions around a cybercrime court and just reviewing the speed of apprehension is probably something that certainly government can look into in the interest of trying to maintain confidence in the digital system and ensuring that our people are protected.
Thank you, Acting Prime Minister and Shailendra, for this discussion. And I think a lot of people, they've gained a lot of information tonight through Fiji Village Straight Talk. A lot of demand, public demand for information, and they wanted government and Vodafone to come to the table to answer their questions. On behalf of all our viewers and listeners, we'd like to thank you again for availing yourself this evening, and for the viewers, until next week, have a good evening.
Thank you.
Naka.
And,
Naka.
Naka.